Hey, good morning, everybody. This is take 2 of the Monday morning live, and I am just hoping that this time around that Kim can join our little interview here that we have prepared for you guys, and deliver some amazing value to the community. So let's have a look now. I can see that she is. So I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, she will be on the screen with us any moment. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to deliver something else and do this differently with her. There she is. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And it's working okay now?
It is, but my sound isn't, so I'm just going to take these off.
Okay, you can hear me through the computer, what's it called, phone, yeah?
Perfect.
All right, we got it sorted. We're only a few minutes late, but that's okay. We can stay at the other end
Technology.
a few minutes. Yeah. All these lives are always kind of like, will it work today? Will it not work today? And all that kind of stuff. But the sound coming through from you is okay. Am I coming through okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, officially, guys, this is Kim Degenhart, author of Frou to Fruition. I know this probably comes back to front and you're in. I love the little touch that you do with your bookmarks. I always carry it around. I have not lost it since I've been carrying around this book on my table since what, January you said it came out?
Yeah, January.
Yeah, I love it. So Kim, tell what I want you to do, because we do share these lives in a couple of other groups right now while everything's happening. So I want you to tell the guys who you are, where you've come from, like a minute or so spiel about your journey and your story that led you obviously to writing this book. And I'm just going to do the shares over here to the side, and then I'm going to ask you lots of cool questions.
Okay, sounds good. Hi everyone, my name's Kim Degenhart, and I am the director of Bomb Funk Dance Studio in Canberra. And this is my 6th year as a dance studio owner and business owner. And prior to that, I was a professional dancer, and I'm also a dance teacher, and I teach in public high schools in Canberra. So that keeps me busy. I'm only part-time now with my high school teaching, and actually this year I've moved into primary school, so that's always a little change and something exciting to add to the list of things. But yeah, running my business is what keeps me the busiest. And for many years when I was traveling with my dance career, I used to always write little travel journals and keep pamphlets and just memories and jot down things every day. And like, I knew that I had a story to tell and had lots of experiences to share. So I started to think about the process of writing a book, and I tried and I got really stuck. And so I never really went beyond that point of having, tons of words down on the pages, and then I didn't get any further with it. And then I went to your little session, and the penny kind of dropped, and I just went, oh my God, like, I'm looking at this the wrong way. I can be doing this to help my business and to support other people who have had a similar career or are trying to have a similar career that I've had. And so, I kind of flipped the way I was thinking about my writing and shared my experiences through helping others.
Yeah, and you have something fun in the story that you did, and I'm going to let you tell people. But your I guess, life as a dancer, what kind of experiences did you go through? When did you start dancing? How old were you?
So I started when I was 6 years old, which is pretty late for, a professional female dancer at the time. And I was never like the best at dancing. I was a good tap dancer, but I was always the back line and never the best. So I just kind of did it for fun, and things just fell into place. And I got a contract in Japan in a magic show. And that's when I fell in love with the whole showgirl magic lifestyle. And then from there, I auditioned for the Moulin Rouge, and I got in, which just surprised me and everybody else. I just kind of went to the audition on a whim. I ended ended up over in Paris for just under 2 years and experienced that whole
Yeah,
world, and that really set my career.
I think I've got a picture here in your book of you. Is this at the Moulin Rouge? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yes, that's
love
the
it.
Moulin Rouge. That's
I
me doing
love
the
it.
can. And it's the
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge's 130th birthday yesterday. So,
Oh,
yeah,
there you
lots of
go.
special celebrations.
I
Mm,
love it.
yeah.
Well, that's an amazing story, and yeah, I love the fact that you ended up doing quite a few photos in the middle of the book. So you had a segment of like 8 or 9 pages here with color photos, which is so important. Like I guess in such a visual industry, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I really wanted to share that aspect so people could see the
Mm.
costumes that I was talking about and experience the sound and the lighting and the shows that I was, talking about in my book. Yeah.
So I want to know, what was the trigger point? I know you came to my workshop and all that and realized what angle you were looking at, that maybe that wasn't the right angle. But what made you come along? What was the trigger point for you to start thinking about writing the book? What was it originally before you walked into that room going to be about?
Well, I originally wanted it to be more of an autobiography and sharing
Right.
just my story. But I know other people have done it before, and particularly like the Moulin Rouge and those places, I was never the big lead or the principal dancer. So I was kind of like, just the chorus girl, and how does that
Yeah.
story compare? So I wanted to share that story.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really thought about my life beyond that and the business world. And so
Yeah.
that's when I sat there and I was like, oh, wow, I've actually experienced so much more past that. And that actually was what taught me how to do all of these other things that I've now done. So,
Yeah.
I think that was just like the penny kind of dropped, and I just kind of realized that I was looking at it the wrong way. And then I thought, I'm just going to sign up to this course of yours. And I came along, and that's when it all kind of fell into place, and we had a chat, and
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Oh, amazing. And you came to the May retreat, not this year, the year before, and then published by
Yep.
January. So you
Yep.
didn't do it a super lightning speed fast, which we usually say, hey, it takes 4 months after the retreat to get through it. You took about 7 or 8, which is good. Doesn't matter. As long as you finish, that's the most important thing. And your book had the additional, work with the photos and all that sort of stuff that you wanted to do. So how did you find the process? Actually, remind me, did you end up speaking out your content, or did you end up typing? What was the process you followed?
Yeah, I spoke out my content.
Yeah.
So I'm very time poor because I'm running a
Yeah.
business and I'm teaching in
Yeah.
schools. This method really appealed to me because I thought, I've been trying to do this for so many years. If I don't just get locked in a room and do it and
Yes.
get forced to do it, Natasha,
Yes.
you're so mean. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, I'm just never going to get it done. So
Yeah.
when I went to retreat, I hadn't started, I'd just done my chapter unpacks. And I literally, every time you told us go for another hour in your rooms, I went and I, got through it. And I recall our last hour before we were packing and leaving, I finished my last
Just
chapter,
finished.
speaking it out. So I made sure I had to get it done that weekend.
Yeah, so you really followed the system. What sometimes people do it slightly differently because they feel more comfortable with typing and all that. But I always want to figure out after the everything has gone through, which way people did go through, and it sounds like you were like just following it exactly as I prescribed it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I love it.
I knew the formula worked, so I wanted to follow it.
Good, and that's what we always say. Don't create because if you recreate and extend the time frame, that it makes you allows you to finish it. So the book is the tagline of this book, guys, is turn your passion for dance into a thriving business. So who is the ideal reader, and who what would they get out of reading your book?
Yeah, sure. So my first and foremost target audience is studio owners, I guess because they're the top end of the funnel and they can spread that information down. But the way that I've broken up the book itself is there's about 3 chapters towards professional dancers and for pre-professional dancers. 3 chapters for dance teachers, and then the remaining 6 are like more for studio owners. But the thing that I've found since it's been published is other people have read my book just out of interest or curiosity, and they've come back to me and they've had nothing to do with the dance industry, and they've said, oh my gosh, I can use all of your principles in my business. And I just have to, you know, exchange the word dance to be whatever my business is for. So I've had this really positive response that it's quite, it can be transferred across a lot of different areas, which I never actually expected or targeted that, you know, to be. It's just happened to be that way. So that's been an exciting progression since I've published. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And they always say that we specialize first and then we generalize. So in terms of we'll find our niche, and yours, it was in dance and studio owners and all that kind of stuff. But then, of course, and I always say to you guys at the retreat, can your information be used across the different niche? Because with my weight loss mindset program that I did for my first niche, it ended up being a mindset program for business owners once I took out the weight loss examples and put the, you know, like you say, replace the word dance to whatever your business is. So speaking of small business, and of course, a lot of people who watch these lives are small business owners, and those people similar to those that picked up your book and found some tips in there. So what are maybe a couple of tips or 3, whatever you want to, you know, you can ask me here on the spot, that you, from having run your own business for the last 6 years and shared them in the book, you know, what are some tips that you would give small business owners around running their own business?
I think it's about, first of all, having that mindset of being confident in what you have to give. And, you know, it's that whole imposter syndrome, feeling that you never quite feel like you're the expert and that you can share your experience. So I think it's about overcoming that mindset and really being able to share with your community the assets that you have and being confident with sharing that. So I think that's a really important step as an, you know, from being a new business owner to when you're starting to feel comfortable. Is working on your own mindset and your confidence, and, you know, getting professional development that will help you with those things. So yeah, that's probably one. And then something that I focus on a lot in the book is helping people with their event management skills, so their organization and just how to add that extra touch into the events that they run so that they're memorable for the right reasons, and people want to keep coming back to you. So that's, one of the big things that I talk about in my book as well.
Well, speaking of events, because obviously, you know, we do a lot of events ourselves. We just did the group book launch Friday night just gone, which you took part in 6 months ago. And my little promotional picture had me and Stuart in the outfits and all that kind of stuff with you, which is what I love, the things that I think there's also an opportunity for you to do further either books or programs to talk about event management, or how do you add flair to your events. I think you do that so well. But one thing that a lot of my audience might want to know, and how do you get bums on seats? What are maybe 2 or 3 tips of how you get people to your own events? And I know you have a, you know, studio. So how do you, you know, capture new clients? What are sort of your strategies of doing that?
I think a lot of it comes down to the way you promote your event. So knowing who your audience is and how you can get the word out to those people. So whether, you know, for me, my audience directly comes from my studio to begin with, and then it funnels out from there. So how best do I contact those people? Where are they hanging? Are they online? Are they, you know, in my newsletter drops? Do we need to get the word out to journalists and go in that direction? So I think, knowing your audience and who you're trying to get to your event is the start of everything and the crux of everything. And then organizing that event around their experience is where you want to take that from there. So, you know, it's all those little details so that when they sign up, what experience are they getting from the start to the end of your event? How is that going to be memorable for them, so that they tell others and be like, oh wow, this, you know, I signed up to this and then I got this, you know, email, or, you know, all these different things to just kind of hook them in, so that by the time they get to your event, they don't want to leave, or they're already raving supporters, and you know,
or they're
sharing it
asking
on
when is the
Facebook
next
and then
one.
tagging.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
love it. Yeah. Good morning, Julie. Julie's just joined the live. I need to scroll up if there are any comments. Guys, you're welcome to ask him any questions, or after the fact, ask them in the, if you're watching this as a recording, ask them in the Q&A box, and I'm sure she's tagged in this video, so she'll get the notified and she can come and respond. And I love that. And I think you absolutely, events are a huge challenge for a lot of people. I know when we did the group book launch here, you coming from Canberra, you still managed to get people, you know, to come along and support you on the night. And that's one of the biggest challenges when you don't have a network in a particular city. But that's one thing that I've noticed about you, is that you're very determined, right, to make something a success and a wonderful experience, which is, kudos to you. So what do you want to see this book, aside from the surprises that you have gotten? I thought this is what was going to happen, but now other things are happening. So maybe tell us a little bit about what is happening right now, and what maybe you would like to see happen in the next 12 months alongside the book and your business.
Well, I've had a really busy week, actually. Earlier this week, I was in Sydney and I was a keynote
The week
speaker.
just started.
Sorry, last week then, It all feels like one blurry long week at the moment. I moved house as well, so amongst everything, I'm like unpacking boxes, so, you know. But I was in Sydney last week at a keynote speech, which was my first big keynote speech, and it was about event management. So that was really exciting, and I got to share. And I got really good feedback from everyone who listened, and they've all been kind of connecting and asking me questions. So that's been really exciting. And the week prior to that, I was in Sydney again for the Australian Dance Festival, which is a huge event that has about 6,000 dancers there, and studio owners and dance teachers from all over Australia and New Zealand come along. So I was on a panel of experts, and we got to discuss a few different topics there as well. So I've really been enjoying, you know, the side that's allowing me to get out into the communities, the dance community, and share and, you know, network and that side of things. I've really enjoyed what my book has allowed me to do from there. So I guess that's kind of an area I'd like to move into more.
So more speaking and more, you know, sharing the message. I know that that weekend also you managed to get the #1 Amazon bestseller on your book in performing arts and all that. So congratulations on that achievement.
Thank you.
Very exciting. And the next cover we print needs to have obviously the stamp on it.
That's right. It's a work in progress. So I managed to get it in 3 different categories in the end. Women in business, dance, and performing arts were my bestseller categories. So that was really exciting. And you know, the same kind of thing, I followed the process that you had given us to set that up prior to the event, knowing that I was speaking in front of lots of people, so that when I promoted, I did a special deal of 99 cents. And when I promoted that deal, you know, I was hoping to hit as many people as I could at that one time. So I guess, you know, learning when to follow the processes and then when to put your own flair onto things is really important. So
I'm glad, because it's a 52-minute video I share with you guys, and if you just and it happened pretty quickly, didn't it? It happened pretty quickly.
It did.
So that's good, and that also to me gives me feedback, because you're now the 3rd or the 4th person that has followed this video, which I did while everything was fresh in my head. After I got my #1, I kind of went back and reverse engineered that for you guys of what you need to do, because at least now you saved yourself $5,000, because there are companies who will execute this strategy for you, and they normally charge $5,000 to implement it, right? So, but you followed something, and that's what I love doing. If I can do something for myself and then teach it within my group, that's why when you guys invest in the program, we say it's lifetime membership of what we're doing. So there's new things coming out all the time. So if I'm going to learn new things, of course, I want to pass that on to you guys, because we have a relationship that doesn't stop just after the retreat. You know, you've come along and helped at a couple of Canberra events subsequent. I'm sure I'm going to see you there next year. It's been really great to continue networking and supporting one another. And this interview is another aspect of just continuing on. And I'm big on, I don't know about you, but I'm big on like longevity with my clients, so quality over quantity. How do you,
absolutely.
maybe what's your like angle on that when you think about your own customers, students and clients?
Yeah, well, I mean, they always say that retaining a dance client, a dance customer is more valuable than, you know, advertising to get new ones in the door all the time. So yeah, I think that's a lesson that I've learned as a studio owner. You know, when you first start out, all you want to do is build your numbers and get more and more people. And now we've kind of reached that point at our studio where we're not that keen to grow too much more. We'd rather really consolidate our programs and our systems and get all that working really well, so that we're giving our clients the best experience possible, because we've realized in that, you know, fast growth time that we have dropped the ball in certain areas, and it's only now that we're starting to go, oh, you know, let's stop getting new people in the door and let's starting, you know, to really make these systems working well for our current clients so that they're happy, and then they tell everyone else anyway. So that money that you're spending, you know, usually on advertising to get people in the door, you're now spending on quality control, and they're then spending that time telling others. So, you know, it comes back anyway.
I so agree with that, because I think when you're new, you need to get the numbers up so the business becomes sustainable, and your sales, marketing, and you don't think about systems and customer service as much, because you know, it's what's the most important thing to focus on at that time. But it's really good that you said that, because I have seen the exact same journey unfold in my own business, and how many more systems and answers to questions, and having Viv, who's probably somewhere, arrived at my house this morning and hanging out with my little daughter. But she's been a great asset that we invested in this year, you know, in terms of being a person, totally customer service role, I would say. Yes, she's admin, but really, you know, she's on the phone, checking in with people, doing more follow-up, doing more nurturing, all of that kind of stuff. And it's so important. So those of you that are listening that are small business owners, maybe like, you know, do you do enough of that? Because as Kim said, it does cost a lot more to find a new client. And with us bringing in the new publishing company 12 months ago, the in-house one, because you were published through the people who were helping us prior to that, you know, it's been wonderful, because now nurturing and having had those long-term relationships has caused so many people to want to republish second, third books with us. I think in excess of 40 more like that projects that are non-retreat related. But it's awesome, because I published my first 7 books with that publisher, you know, which meant, you know, I kept using the same people. So now all of a sudden, if you do your customer service right, you will get the return business, which is what you're saying. I mean, what's the average, like what would you expect if you got a student in a dance school? Because is your dance studio for certain ages, or is there a whole range?
Well, mine goes from 18 months old up to adults. So there's a huge range there. So you know, when you're starting to target different areas, you've got to target different age groups in different ways, different programs. So it's a huge little thing. So we usually pick an area that we're trying to grow. Like next year, we're working on our preschool program, and we're going to grow that area and keep the other areas, you know, steady. And then maybe in 2 years' time, we'll work on our adults again. And so because if you just kind of try and work on everything at once, you're just kind of doing half of it everywhere.
Actually, I have got an expert question for you. My daughter, Mika, the middle one, she's 8. She's 8. And she says she loves dancing. But I said, well, what would you like next year? My son's going to go play footy for a local team. And I said, well, why don't we put you into a dance classes or something like that? Like if you really like dancing and all this. She goes, oh, nah. And my son said, you know, she doesn't want to go because she's he can read her because she's worried that she's not going to be good enough for you know, like, because she won't know, and other people may have been going for a while or whatever it is. And I said, I'm sure there's beginner classes and all that. How do you make a response to that, to a kid who thinks, like, you know, and I always say, like, to her, like my mom said, to every beginning is hard. You're going to walk in the first 2 times, you'll feel like a stranger. But I said by the 3rd and 4th time, it's like all your buddies are there and you're going to be happy and all that. You being a dance teacher, how do you handle, you know, the newbies who perhaps have this imposter syndrome, right? There it is at the kids' age, right? So what do you say? What would you recommend to a parent to then make them sort of at least give it a go?
Well, I think first and foremost, the one big mistake that parents make in the terms of dance studios is they don't do their research on their studio. So check the studios around you and what their values are and what type of studio they are. So are they really heavily into drilling performance, or are they doing comps, or are they really recreational and fun? So, you know, a kid that's just starting out is more likely to want a recreation fun class.
I agree.
And then they can bounce from that class into something more experienced that does more things. So I think it's about doing the research and making sure that the studio's values, like, how strict do you want it? Do you want them to be wearing makeup? Do you want them to be in certain types of costumes?
Got it.
Check all those things first. And then once you find the right fit, you know, your child's gonna feel a little bit more comfortable to start with, because they're already in an environment that they feel, you know, safer in. And then a lot of places offer trial classes so that you're not, you know, having to sign up for months and months at a time. You can go in, you can, like, we often do like a full week, so they can come along and watch or try however many classes they want in that time. And then they can go, oh, okay, so, that class I didn't like, or that teacher was a bit grumpy, or I'd really like to do this style. Oh, I never thought that I'd like that style. And then they can get a bit more of a feel before they're signing up and committing to a term or to a year or whatever. So that's probably the best way to do it. And in terms of kids, like, if you can get a buddy, that they can have a friend, it's the quicker they can get a buddy, you know, the more settled they're going to be. So at our studio, when we have trials, we always have a little buddy system. And we have a front office person that she also is a dance teacher. So, you know, she's always there to guide them and help new students into the classroom. So, I guess it's right finding the studio that will do those extra things to help your child blossom when they're most nervous to start with.
I love that. Actually, I'm so glad I asked the question, because I wouldn't have even thought about what are their values, and you know, and I'm like kind of thinking, then when you started listing them, I started going, okay, so yes, we would be looking at definitely something more recreational and relaxed to begin with. And as you say, you can start to increment the steps or commit in different ways. So thank you very much. There we go. I got my value out of the call.
Excellent.
Well, I didn't even think I was going to ask this question this morning, but it was the conversation we were having in the car yesterday as we were going to the movies. And, you know, I'd like, I was never put into any extracurricular activities as a child and all that. And I can see, but then again, I grew up in Macedonia. You walk out of the house, all your friends are out there and you're hanging out with people. But here, you tend to be within your family unit. So, you know, if they could do something additional to school, that's a great little thing to try out and see what they love, because it turned out to be one of the best things and turned out to be your career, right? I love that. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I never expected it.
I know. And your story is wonderful, and I really love having you in our life and all that sort of stuff. So where can people buy the book, aside from I think you guys need to go to buy directly off Kim. Of course, it's available on lots of online stores. It's Frou to Fruition. So what's your website?
So it's www.fruitofruition.com. Or you can also do it through kimdegenhart.com.
I love it. You're very organized. So she's got all her websites set up and all that sort of stuff, which is really important. You know, if you're going to have a product or you're going to get interviewed, you need to have all of that stuff ready and give people options. And as I said, you know, there's an option to buy them in the online stores and all that kind of stuff. So there's no way people won't be able to find your book. And I always say, you know, plaster it everywhere. I mean, sometimes the outcomes from being an author, Kim, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, but I always find sometimes you can see the tangible correlation and measurable results from it, but many times the benefits of it are so intangible, and you kind of don't know, did this come from the book or it didn't. I believe it plays a huge part, though. You agree?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, it adds that element of confidence too. So you do, while you're already the expert, you become the expert because you now have this other reason to share your knowledge. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. Well, congratulations. I couldn't be more prouder, and I'm so happy that we get to see each other also regularly. And I love seeing your events on social media and how you, I definitely think, like, you know, out of everything you said today, something, you got to create some mini course or something about event management. You know, if it was me, I'd write a book about it because I'm always like, a new idea, a new program, all that. Let's write the book about for it. Yeah, I think, some of that information that you do, and because I've seen the results and all of the photos, and you'd have so many awesome photos to share within, you know, I think yours is more that visual and like I've written books on events, but it's been more like how do you get more bums on seats and all that kind of stuff, running retreats, because that's been my experience. But for you, like that kind of other stuff around, you know, that memorable, and I think, you really bring in the experience into yours, you know, that the wow event or something like that. I love it. All right, the wow factor, Well, guys, go to Fruition and get your hands on Kim's book, because it is relevant information, even though it's written for dance studio owners. It is relevant to small business owners, and you'll get value out of it. And you'll see her awesome pictures and further delve deeper into her story. And Kim, I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for taking out the time to be with us here this morning.
Thanks so much for having me, Nat. It's been really fun, and I'm glad we got that technology working.
Yeah, and I'm glad we restarted it. So it's nice, clean thing. And this will go up on YouTube and a few other places. It'll be shared. So, and we'll put your website down in the bottom. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, and all the best until I see you next in Canberra.
Thank you. Sounds good. You too. Bye.
Bye, gorgeous. Bye.